Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip,
And I'm CJ.
and it is Friday in the Riv after a hectic week nationally and everything else. The Democrats here is on fire. They're running around. They're all going to they're going ballistic, and now with every appointment it gets better. You have to.
It, it does, and it's very interesting. Before we move on to that, though, we had a problem with scheduling the show on Facebook last night, and I just checked. The show is airing on Facebook without a problem, but the scheduling notifications didn't go out. So if you didn't get a notification, I'm sorry. It wasn't something I did. It's something Facebook did. But we are live on Facebook, so we're good. We're golden. Now back to the Trump appointments.
Yeah, well, before that, we got to get back to one of the Trump appointments. We're going to have to get Elon Musk and Vivek on this stuff for efficiency on Facebook, because you got to keep dealing with Facebook. So
that's it. That's it.
This is the problem. But what really kills me about them? I mean, they're just they live in such their own world, and it's like they don't look at themselves in the mirror. They project themselves, and it's like they're going, "Oh, he's appointing partisan MAGA people to his cabinet." Well, this is not right. You should you should put your enemies in your cabinet, right? So you have to worry about getting stabbed in the back like Julius Caesar. Et tu, Brute. He learned that in his first term. I mean, do you think Merrick Garland isn't loyal? I mean, they've used lawfare against Trump, his entire, Mayorkas, all of them, Buttigieg. These people are all part of that team. And the difference is this team was created by a bunch of elitists. The Trump team is being created because of the people of America. The people spoke in this election. He obliterated them. 312 electoral votes, the largest popular vote in, God, I forgot what it was, since like the 1800s or something like this. I don't know. But popular vote, electoral, they got no excuses now. First, they want to eliminate the Electoral College because Hillary won the popular vote by a couple of 100,000. This guy wins by millions, 6 million, 7 million. Oh, now what are you going to do? You don't want the popular vote and you don't want the Electoral College. Oh, wait a minute. That's what you want. You want to do what you did with Kamala. Install anybody you want. And you create our government that's supposed to represent us. That's what they did. And they're going nuts. I mean, some of the stuff, it's hysterical. I mean, this is like watching a comedy show. And I'm looking at some of these things that are online, and it's the people, dummies. You people, you didn't listen to the people. I was scrolling through some of the stuff that I get, and it's like I'm looking at this, and they're talking about, well, the president of Argentina came to meet Trump. Latino parents were demonstrating at a school committee meeting because some teacher made an anti-Trump racist rant about Trump being elected and mentioned the Latinos, and these Latinos are for Trump. They got signs, Latinos for Trump. They keep talking about this stuff like, oh, he's this, he's that. He's got the greatest inroads and the greatest diversity ever in the history of the Republican Party to be elected. He made inroads with blacks, Hispanics, Arabs, Jews, everybody. This was the voice of the people being united in one cause. Stop shitting on us. Taking all our money, giving it to illegals and your rich friends. So get over it. Leave. I think I saw somebody said that in 2016, Cher said she was going to go to Jupiter, but she didn't. Now they're all threatening to leave. Well, bye. Have a nice day. Even Longoria, I'm out of here. Well, being the lying, hypocrite, elitist, Democrat, rich person that you are, you're lying again. You've been living out of the United States most of the time for the last 5 or 6 years. The only thing you did was sell your multi-million-dollar house in California. You're going to sell your house in California and then live full-time in one of the other countries you live in. Because you can go anywhere you want. So you know something? Go. Go. So with that, CJ, you can start weighing in because some of the stuff they're saying is so outrageous.
Well, what was very interesting was, as you know, in New York, the New York mayor cut the EBT cards and the food stamps. He canceled the cash and he canceled the food stamps. And right away, the Latinos came up and started demonstrating at City Hall, saying that this is unfair. How come it's unfair? We're not giving it to the homeless veterans.
Yeah.
We're not giving it to American citizens. How come it's unfair? They came into this country to live for free. That's not the way it works. Even in other countries, and I heard a prime minister say this, I can't remember who it was. He says, if you think you're coming to this country and you don't plan on working for a living, don't bother coming because we're going to ship you right out. It's okay for them to say that, but God forbid we say it.
No,
it really makes me angry.
No, you're right. And half of those people demonstrating are probably illegals.
That's right.
And they spent $53 million before that on these debit cards and stuff like that. And now the welfare, they're cutting out these things, these freebies. Like you said, we have homeless veterans. And I'm glad you mentioned that because it just brought to mind. I meant to mention it. I should have written it down. But how angry how angry I was. The other day I was watching something on Channel 5. I forgot what it was. But they were underneath, they had the crawl. You know the crawl. So
yep.
They were running a fundraiser, a charity fundraiser for veterans on Channel 5. Veterans that have come home with PTSD, veterans that have issues, drug issues, whatever. They're running and that's great. But you know the problem I got with that is, where's Channel 5 based?
Boston.
You ever see them come out and tell the governor, you asshole, stop giving all the illegals all the money? You ever see them attack the state representatives who wouldn't give housing to the veterans? No. They want us to give them money. And I will. But not to them. I'll give it to a veterans organization. I always. Being a veteran, I know. But this is what pisses me off. They come and pick our pockets all the time. And the mainstream media, which caused this, they're all whining and they're looking for a reason. Number one, you didn't listen to the people. Number two, your propaganda shit doesn't work anymore. Everybody doesn't believe anything they say on NBC, CBS, ABC especially, CNN, MSNBC. They're gutting those places.
Right.
They're thinking about getting rid of MSNBC completely. They're laying off thousands of people at CNN. And then one newspaper, that's one of the other articles I get, because I get these articles constantly. One newspaper, and get this one, you want to really laugh? They're turning around and saying they're going to change their staff because they're only one-sided and they want to have an opinion that is more in line with what the people want. Well, about time. So you people are running around with your hair on fire, and your leaders are just calling everybody stupid because everybody that voted for Trump is a moron, uneducated, and stupid. Elon Musk is stupid. Vivek Ramaswamy is stupid. J.D. Vance, even though he's got an Ivy League law degree and graduate. Everybody is dumb. You people are smart. Whoopi Goldberg saying she works for a living.
She makes $700,000 a week.
Yeah. She works. Even the people. Look, that's how bad it was, CJ. Even the people on The View kind of gave it the stink eye. Like, are you kidding me? You're just a regular. I work for a living. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Whoopi. We can get 700 people from Fall River to go on The View and work for the $700,000 that you make a week. Okay, let them split it.
When you consider that the median income in Fall River is only $35,000 or thereabouts.
30, actually a little over 30.
Yeah, $30,000, and the median income in the United States is what, 60, 80?
60 something. Yeah.
So she's a regular person making $700,000 a year and being worth $60 million, right?
Yeah. She's a regular.
I like to get her salary. I like to get her paycheck.
Yeah. I'd like to get a month. She makes in a month more than a per capita income in the city of Fall River, and more than a national average of per capita income. I mean, these people are just they're wacky. You can't reason with people. I told you last show we talked about the psychiatrist who said don't even try to discuss it with them. Just be kind and try to just let them go off on their rants because you can't fix delusion. They're in a delusional state and they don't want to accept it. But the thing that aggravates me is, look, okay, fine, be pissed off. Okay. But don't call everybody else a name. Everybody in the country that voted for, and a lot of people voted for him. And don't be calling everybody stupid and this and that because, look, we could use the same thing. You wanted to vote for somebody for president that couldn't put together a coherent sentence, didn't have any policies. And then you go on CNN, which is why nobody watches them anymore. And you got these people bemoaning it and saying, she ran the most wonderful campaign. What a brilliant campaign. And then you got one of their top guns, supposedly, Carville, stuffing his face with Doritos saying, you people are effing nuts. That's his own party. He's even calling them out. So, I mean, it's getting to be hysterical. I mean, this is like a comedy show. But, let's see what happens now with the confirmations, because that's going to be very, very, especially Matt Gaetz. That's going to be a tough confirmation, I think, because he's got
a lot of baggage. But
he's got some Republicans that don't like him because of the chaos he created in the House.
Right. And the thing is, though, is that from what I understand from news reports from various news organizations, Trump's going to try to do a appointment in the recess so that he's got 2 years without having a confirmation. And it's sad that you have to think that way.
Yeah.
Because this is supposed to be his presidency, not the Congress presidency, not the Senate presidency. It's the people's presidency. It's the people's administration. That's the way it's supposed to be. Paul, people's administration.
Because everything we're talking about now is all you got to do is change the name from Kamala and the Democrats to Paul and the Democrats.
That's right.
That's it. Because what we're saying is Fall River is a microcosm of what's happened nationally. And the reality is, just look at every appointment. They're going, MAGA. Well, yeah, you're right. because the people said, we want to make America great again, and we want to make the people of America healthy and happy again. Not illegals, not the billionaires. We want to make it. And they spoke loudly and clearly. So he's like Pete had said, it's like, the Pentagon's going crazy. They're running around, all these generals that got appointed to the rank of general the last 10 or 15 years have been there because they're political. They're political leaning. They're all wokey Democrats. Millie Austin. Millie disgraced themselves talking about, I want to know about white rage. I want to know about white rage. Well, Pete Hegseth is a major. He's served about 20 years in the military, the National Guard. Had a deployment to Iraq and Afghanistan. Got 2 Bronze Stars. Knows what it is to be in combat. And he knows one thing. You don't win wars with pronouns. You don't win wars with snowflakes. I saw a commercial that they ran, one of the old commercials they were running about pronouns, saying they were going to create a safe space. Well, I hate to tell you this, yo-yos. There's no safe spaces in war, because you can be sleeping in your barracks at night and they'll mortar your ass.
And we actually had that happen not too long ago, if you remember. We had that happen.
And even in areas where it's not a declared war, do we remember what happened in Beirut?
Right.
At the Marine barracks, when they drove a truck in there and blew up 100 or so Marines? These people, they're imbeciles. The Army's sole job is to be war fighters and protect this nation. There's no time for wokeness and safe spaces.
Well, I love the comment from the proposed defense director, who said, "Enough with the pronoun bullshit."
Well, yeah, you're right.
He's like, we got to get back to military obedience, back to military decorum, and back to what the military is for: defending our country. He can't say it any better.
Yeah,
say it any better.
I mean, look at China is building the greatest army in the history of the world now. They have the largest navy. They probably have the largest air force. They definitely have the largest navy by a mile. I saw some horrifying stats that if we got into a war with China, that we would be out of munitions in about 3 weeks.
Right.
We would run it because we gave everything to Ukraine. So we give all
and they can't account for it.
and we can't account for it. So this is the way. This is the America these yo-yos want. So we can be a third rate. Listen, the military is the military, but you can get that on every level of government. They do not want Elon Musk and Vivek to make the government efficient. Just look at it. We were talking on a previous show about the last figures for employment numbers, and they said we only had 12,000 new jobs, but it wasn't 12,000, like we said. The reality is it was a negative, because they created 40,000 new government jobs were created. It's like Fall River. Every time you turn around, Paul's got a new job. Let's reorganize something. Let's put 4 people in there.
It's funny you should mention that, because yesterday Rhode Island published its employment numbers, and they put that there was 400 people back, 400 new jobs back to work. And in the next line, they listed 500 jobs lost, which is a net loss of 100 jobs. But they didn't say that. They said, "Oh no, it's we got 400 jobs." No, it's a net loss. It's just like they do in Massachusetts. Once you fall off the unemployment rolls, they don't count you anymore. You're not counted as unemployed. If you're homeless, they don't count you as unemployed. Okay, well, and that's the problem. None of the numbers are accurate. Not even the ones from the federal government.
Oh, no. How many times did the federal government just down? They gave him a high number to look good so Biden could say, oh, look what we're doing. And then later on, they dropped them. They cut them in half. And go, oh, whoops, wrong number. But don't you remember when we used to complain about all that, too, on some of our older shows with Viola talking about all these things he's creating, but never about the people that are going out of business and the lost jobs. And how many of those things that they created actually stayed in business for any length of time? This is the problem. You need people in there who actually are used to being efficient and running things the way the military. Well, what's the military for? War fighting. Hegseth knows that. He said, no pronouns, no bullshit. It's a merit. You go in there, you got to learn, you're going to be in there, and you're going to go to war. That's what your function is. Not to make people rich and promote people in general that are politicians and become woke. Same thing with our government. You get a guy like Elon Musk, who laid off 80% of the staff at X, and then now is making more money than he did before, and it's functioning better. Cuts the fat.
He proves when you get government involved, it's wasteful.
Yeah, well, we always say that.
That's right.
But and same thing with Vivek. Vivek is he's a billionaire, and the guy's brilliant. He knows how to run a business. Those guys.
Let me tell you something. After this term of office, I'm sure J.D. Vance is going to run for president. And who I would like to see as his vice presidential candidate is Vivek Ramaswamy. I think that would be an excellent team. I'm not sure what you think, but I think they would be an excellent team. Okay? Because you've got both sides of the party. You have the legal and right end of things, and you've got the efficiency and money side of things. And you put them together, I think you'll get a good team to work for the country. But I could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. Not sure what people think about that, but it is what it is.
You're right. I'm looking at some of these articles about the stuff, and it's like they talk, and even Fetterman basically said that they got what they deserved.
Yeah,
I mean, he basically said, I'm looking at some of these articles that Fetterman basically said that Fetterman calls gets picked God's level of trolling. He said that Trump's victory is a serious flex for bros. They're not fascists. He said they're the American people. He said he appealed to the people, and this is what they got. The Democrats did not listen to the people. Even Fetterman, the guy that wears shorts and a hoodie to the Senate, and who had a stroke and recovered. So apparently he's recovered from that stroke, and he's. But I mean, I don't agree with everything he says, but sometimes he will call it the way he believes, and that's fine. But don't make excuses. Fetterman's not making excuses. He said the Democrats basically had to shit all over themselves with this campaign.
Yeah, I agree. We got a comment on YouTube from Linda Mead. I'm surprised she's on YouTube, but it says, good morning. I, too, am predicting a J.D. Vance presidential bid in 2028. Ramaswamy would be an awesome running mate. I said, thank you. I'm surprised you're on YouTube, though, but I'll take you watching us from anywhere.
Well, CJ, we got the Republicans, unlike the Democrats, who have no bench at all. I mean, who are they going to run? They're going to run Newsom, who destroyed California. They're going to, Shapiro.
Now that you bring that up, because I want to bring this up. I just got this in at 10:15 this morning from Commonwealth Beacon magazine. Golden Gate earthquake felt in Boston. When the fog in San Francisco lifted and the mayoral election tally rolled in, the outcome caught the attention of some people 3,000 miles away in Boston. Daniel Lurie, the heir to the Levi Strauss fortune, took out incumbent London Breed, the first black woman to hold the job, as voters signal their unhappiness with the state of things in the city and ignored critics who said he was buying the job. Lori, a philanthropist. Okay? Tell me, we've been talking about San Francisco for how long?
Yeah. Well, London Bree was like a real, I mean, talk about, she's so far left that she's off the planet, but, and a total disaster. But look, it's always the finger pointing it. Now it was like when they condemned J.D. Vance for actually becoming a success. Oh, now he's in with he's a rich guy now. Well, he started out as a poor guy, very poor guy, and he's a self-made man. So now, if he was a Democrat, he'd be the second coming of Christ. But this is what they do. Now they're going to blame this person for being rich and saying, well, he bought the election. Well, you buy every election. If that wasn't true, why do both political parties have every one of their elected officials in Washington spend 50% of their time raising money for the party? Right? CJ?
I'm here.
Yeah. Spend 50% of their time raising funds for their party.
Yeah, always.
You know, and who bankrolled Kamala? Everybody forgot Kamala had $1 billion she blew and had 20 million in a hole. Paying who? Not the poor people. Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I agree with you because, you know, a lot of people don't know, but when I first got out of the military, I worked for the federal government too. So I witnessed that waste firsthand too. I worked at Quonset Point as an electronics systems mechanic. I used to work on in electronics on the fighter planes and the submarine trackers because it was a fifth echelon. They closed the base. It's the only reason I ended up in Fall River. I probably wouldn't have been living in Massachusetts anymore because that was a great job. I made great money, but they closed the base. And that was when they had some massive layoffs on a federal level when Nixon first got in. And but I saw the waste. I saw the government take out millions and millions of dollars worth of equipment and stick it in a warehouse and buy all new equipment. And when I was a new guy there, I said, what are they doing? This is all like brand new equipment. They said, oh, you do this every year. If we don't spend the money, they cut your budget. So they just buy stuff that they don't need and put the other stuff in a warehouse and sell it later on as surplus. This is what the government does. The $500 toilet seats, you know, the $500 billion plane that never got off the ground. You know, you can go on forever. And you see people like Elon Musk and Vivek, they go crazy when they see stuff like they can't run their companies like this. They didn't get rich by just urinating money into a hole. And, you know, Vivek would be a great, but, you know, to get back to that original point, they've got a great bench. I mean, you know, Tulsi Gabbard isn't, you know, I mean, she's no slouch either. We got a whole bunch of people, you know, DeSantis. I mean, we've got people who are really, you know, the Republican Party, and I'm an independent, but they've got some people with a lot of street cred, to say it in Fall River style. They've got credibility. DeSantis is doing a great job in Florida. I mean, handling everything, hurricanes, you know, he doesn't take any crap from anybody, and he's done a great job. That's why he was the first Republican governor to get elected by basically a landslide. His first election was by a whisker. But after they saw what he could do, it changed. Listen, this election was historic. Now Sylvester Stallone called him the second coming of George Washington or something. I don't know, something like that. He was down in Mar-a-Lago, the greatest comeback. But this is about the people. Donald Trump could have not come back. unless the people believed in his message, which was make America great, put Americans first. This is what you're supposed to do. Yet, to spin back to kind of a local thing, to show again that just like Biden and Harris ignored the people, Paul Coogan ignores the people. CJ, didn't Attleboro just build a whole bunch of affordable housing?
Not only Attleboro, Pawtucket, Central Falls, Providence, Warwick, West Warwick, all taking state money and building affordable housing units. 62 here, 32 there. I mean, they sound like small numbers, but when you start putting them together, they add up. And on one of the news programs I watched, they actually did a walkthrough of the building under construction. And they said, this is a 1-bedroom, this is a 2-bedroom, this is a 3-bedroom. And they're talking about $1,900 being the highest rent that they can charge. And that's obviously somebody who can afford it, because affordable housing, they're going to adjust the income accordingly. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And they're using Mike Dion, please listen. Mike Dion, attention, please. They're using CDA money. And I know Mike has used some CDA money for 1, 2, and 3 affordable housing units. But how come these people are using CDA money for 62, 32, 23, 43? That's what CDA money is supposed to be used for.
Yeah, but remember, CJ, it's because they actually pay attention, and Fall River still has control of its local media. You know that your favorite radio station is always pro-administration.
Yes.
Especially this administration.
Doesn't matter who the administration is, they're always pro-administration.
And the sterile news,
which is no longer printed in Fall River or Providence. It's now being printed in Andover or something.
Yeah, and the few articles they come out with are virtually all propaganda pieces. Joe Good at one time was a reporter, but now she's not. She's another propagandist. So they've kept that stranglehold on Fall River area. See, we don't
look at why. Look at why. We went through this. Look at why. If you don't do what the administration wants, they cut you off. We experienced that. Get these guys off the air, or I'm holding your money. I'm not giving you your money. And that was effective. That was effective. And that's how Paul silenced us, or so he thought he silenced us. We were quiet for a couple of weeks, but guess what? We're here.
That's right. But when you look at this, and what disturbs me is the failure of these people to look at what's really happening. I have no idea. I have no idea.
There's been a lot of rumors. We know that Carlos Caesar is allegedly going to run for the office. I'm not sure how much of an opportunity he's going to have to actually get through a primary. There's rumors that Will Flanagan's going to run again. And while Chip and I both worked to get him out of office, I think we would work to get him in office against Paul. So yeah, politics makes strange bedfellows.
Yeah, it's always the lesser of two evils.
Right.
We've had discussions with people. I have people that say, if I don't like either candidate, I'm not going to vote. And, that's obviously their prerogative as individuals. I think that's counterproductive to the system we live in. We have to be heard. And even if you have to vote, while you're drinking a gallon of Pepto-Bismol, so to keep you from not upchucking, you still got to vote for the lesser of the evils. You still got to try to move the needle. But unfortunately, for the most part, it takes you to get to DEFCON 4 before the people get pissed off enough. Like, how long did it take before the people woke up nationwide. I mean, it took virtually the most catastrophic presidential term in history. I mean, Joe Biden, from day one, began to destroy this country, not only on the national level, but on a local level. We have veterans sleeping in the streets. The priorities are upside down. They worry more. They're going to protect, you're going to spend your tax dollars trying to hide illegals from being deported. I mean, this is what happened. People just got fed up, like those Latinos that were demonstrating at a school committee meeting, which now the FBI will probably identify as terrorists, because that's what they do to people who actually want a republic, to show that you represent them. You're supposed to do what they want. And they were pissed off about this person ranting in front of their children about, Trump. And this is the thing. They refuse to accept the fact that the people have spoken, because they don't care about the people. It gets down to that common denominator with all of them. They don't think we're worthy of voting. It's like, shut up. We're smarter than you. We're richer than you. They like to turn this into the India in the 1800s, where they had a caste system. You're from a lower caste. You don't deserve to have any rights at all. And they're basically saying that now. Now, first they blame the Electoral College. Now they can't blame anything. And so what did they do? They showed what they do. Remember, everybody talks about what they did installing Kamala. Yeah, that would be like running Paul Coogan. Yeah. But remember, they did this with Bernie Sanders. Remember when Sanders was winning the primaries for the nomination of presidency? And the Democratic Party came out and told those idiots that are in the Democrat, and they accepted it. And they didn't get the hint then. They said, we don't care if you want Bernie. Hillary's going to be the nominee. Remember that, CJ? I remember
it clearly. They
told the people in their party, I don't give a damn what you do. I don't care how many votes he gets. I don't care how many primaries he wins. He's not going to be the nominee. We're nominating. The superdelegates are going to nominate Hillary. You don't count. And these people stayed in the party. How does a Democrat left that's a working class person in the Democratic Party? It's absolutely beyond my comprehension. I just can't figure it out. These people have crapped all over you for years in every city throughout the country. Look what they did to San Francisco, okay? And look what happens. They've done it to every city they take over, Baltimore, and they still haven't figured out that the people who lead that party don't care about the regular people. They don't.
Right. And that's the problem. That's the problem. And that's been the problem with Fall River. But this time, Fall River rose up and Trump won Fall River. The Republicans came out dominant. Now, hopefully, they can continue that through the next election. And they provide a dominancy that gets rid of Paul Coogan. And no, I don't believe Cal Fiola is going to run it the next time, because Paul said he's going to run. So she won't run against him. And speaking of Cal Fiola, I told you this earlier this week. Guess which building is on sale, people? Guess what building? The Cherry and Webb building. Ken Fiola's lovely building. Now, if you remember correctly, when Jazel got rid of Ken Fiola and cut him off at the wallet, he almost went bankrupt. He almost lost that building. He wants $1.9 million for that building. There's very little occupancy in that building, although they say there's 70-some-odd%. I think that 70% is mostly government offices.
What a surprise.
Yeah, because remember, who was it had their own private office in that building? And I mean, there was all kinds of rumors going around. It was craziness. But nothing surprises me anymore. Nothing at all. Nothing. And that's the problem.
Well,
Nothing surprises me
let's
forward.
see what surprising appointee to his cabinet will come next, because it's like this is like watching a soap opera now, because Trump gives the middle finger to him with his appointments just to piss him off, and he's succeeding. They're not dumb. They're so dumb. They're not smart enough to just say, "All right, that's the way it is." But no, they
got to make a scene.
Into flames.
They got to make a scene. They're like little children. I don't like him, mommy, he's mean to me.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, how about Robert Kennedy? Did they go nuts about that one?
Oh yes, they did.
Oh,
yes, they did.
God.
He's an anti-vaxxer. He's going to cut vaccines. He's going to get rid of vaccines. And Kennedy said it. I'm not going to get rid of anyone's vaccines. He has said in the past that he doesn't think all vaccines are effective.
No.
Hell, I don't think a lot of vaccines are effective. The newer ones, like the COVID vaccine. I mean, and lately they've been showing that even the flu vaccine is less than 30% effective in most cases. So people are like, why am I going to take the flu vaccine? Because people want to know that what they're receiving is not dangerous. And let's be real. The federal government has made it clear to the people that as long as you are taking a vaccine, if you get injured by it, you can't sue the manufacturer. You can only get a portion of a fund that's set up for vaccine injuries, which I believe is bullshit.
Yeah, a couple of good comments, Linda, Michelle. Yeah, you're right. I mean, people should vote, but they finally did vote for their own good. And Robert Kennedy, they lie about him all the time too. I saw the interview where he said he wasn't anti-vax. He's taken vaccines, but he said he would never take away a vaccine if it works for somebody. That's their prerogative. He wants the choice, but he wants full information to be given to the people. Like one of the dyes they use in cereals is actually made from coal. The residual after they process coal, the thing's highly can be highly toxic in certain concentrations. I mean, you look at that guy. The guy's 60 some years old. He's pushing 70. Guy's in phenomenal condition. I mean, he doesn't just talk the talk. I mean, you look at him and look at who's in charge of health and human services now. Yeah, Secret Service. You're right. I mean, but then again, their hair would be on fire with that one too, because Bongino, they would say, "Oh, he's not qualified. He was just a regular agent." Blah blah. Like headsets, not like Vivek. Listen, I hate to tell you this, pal, but you Democrats, but you could put Elon Musk in anything, and Vivek, and most of these people into virtually any job, and they would be successful because they have proven it. They have been successful in life. They're natural leaders. They're not afraid to make decisions. And even if they don't know what you're putting them into, they know how to get the best people because they deal about merit. I mean, you're going to worry about that? Look at that quote unquote admiral that we got in charge of Health and Human Services now. Does she or he or whatever look like they're in great physical condition? I don't think so. Last picture I saw, had one foot on a banana peel and the other one in a grave.
What's interesting? You brought about these toxic chemicals being put in cereal and whatnot. Yeah. If you look at the ingredient panels on any product for an American usage and compare it to the same product in Europe, you will see that there's two different things. Like here, you'll see high fructose corn syrup, which is very detrimental to the body. In Europe, you'll see cane sugar. Imagine that. Okay.
Well,
you see Robert Kennedy say, you don't see it.
Didn't Robert Kennedy say that a lot of American foods are banned in Europe?
Yes, they are.
Can't sell them. So this tells you something, but this is what they suppress from the American public. That's why they don't want these people. These people want to tell you the truth and basically, give you the information you need to make a decision. Because, Robert Kennedy basically said it very clearly. I want to give people, they have the right to choose what they want to do. But I want to give them all the information they need to make the choice, not hide stuff. And like I said, COVID, that vaccine, we were guinea pigs. The entire country were guinea pigs. That was an experimental drug. It caused all kinds of problems. A lot of young people got heart issues from it. That's why they said, wow, I didn't know that. Thank you, Linda. I never knew that. I don't even know where you can buy that stuff. But I mean, maybe in Europe, that's probably the
I was going to say London.
London. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen a Coca-Cola with a yellow cap.
Neither have I. I've seen it with a green cap. I've seen it with a white cap, but never seen it with a yellow cap.
That's interesting. See, we got some shop units watching this show, so
that's right.
But it's crazy that these people, the bottom line is America spoke, but the Democrats want to suppress Americans, period. Their thoughts, their ability to control their government, and also to be informed, because they're doing what they did in the Dark Ages when the churches wouldn't let anybody learn how to read and write. They want to keep America dumb. They don't give you the information on anything. It's kind of like, let me think of something. Oh, the school committee, when they don't tell you anything about what's going on. When the mayor, the ex officio chairman, says, you're voting on this, but you don't have the right to know where the money's going. I'm not going to show you the numbers. Just shut up and vote. Didn't that happen? Or did my memory?
Yeah, I watched that happen.
Yeah. So this is what Democrats want. They want you. They used to have that old saying. They want to keep them barefoot and pregnant.
Yeah.
Now the Democrats want to keep us uninformed and stupid. So
I gotta bring something up while you mentioned the school committee. Colin Dias sent out 2 requests from his office to the school to different departments. Good afternoon, Superintendent Curley. I'm reaching out to formally request that you reach out to the state auditor and request the state auditor perform an audit of the spending, overtime, personnel expenses, and preventive maintenance contract language consistency of the following departments: facilities, operations, maintenance, and custodial. Best regards, Colin Dias. He also requested from the fire department. Good afternoon, Chief Bacon. I hope all is well. I wanted to first reach out to commend the quick responsiveness and the hard work of your team in dealing with this fire at the Spencer Borden School on Wednesday, November 6th. Secondly, I am respectfully requesting a copy of any and all reports from the Spencer Borden fire in order to understand what mistakes the district has made in allowing this fire to happen so we can address it. Regards, Colin Dias. He's on top of it. He's on top of it.
Colin's on top. Actually, I've got to call him today. I spoke to someone about what he's got to do, and I think that they told me that he really has to kind of, like, when he goes to the auditor, not make a general statement. He should be a little bit specific about what he wants to look. Although that statement was pretty good about what he wants them to look at. But if he has any other specifics, he should include that. But I will talk to Colin. But again, look at, here we go. We're changing, inch by inch in Fall River. It was really good that Colin got to be on the committee. He could show what he was made of. He ran and he came close, but he didn't get in. But now he's showing, like Michelle does on the other side. Oh, okay. Thanks, Linda. That's another one. Okay. Passover. But But this is the key. We need people that are going to work for the people. And heaven forbid we look for efficiency, because we know how efficient Fall River is. I think we may be one of the few cities in the world that lost a building. And we did. They had the building in another building, one of the prefab buildings, and they went, whoops, it's been here so long, it's deteriorated to the point we can't use it anymore. And I remember,
and they lost some of the pieces to put it together.
That's right. And it's like, well, but there's no waste in government. But let's hope that this carries over. Next election, we will have some contested elections. So it will not.
I want to see 10 people run for mayor. I want to see 60 people run for city council. I want to see 30 people run for school committee. I want there to be a race. I want there to be a choice, so that people can say, I'm not going to vote for Linda. I'm not going to vote for Brad. I'm not going to vote for Joe Camara. Okay? They can say that. I'm not going to vote for Paul. I'm not going to vote for Mimi Larrabee. I'm not going to vote for Paul Hart. They can say these things and they can say, I'm not voting for them because they didn't represent me. And that's what the important thing is, representing me.
No, you're right, CJ. And remember, we talked about this a while back, and I think we're going to do it this time because we really need to do it. I think that CAG, our organization, the Citizens Alliance for Accountability in Government, I think we should begin, this election is over, but in a not too distant future, we should have a get-together like we did when we started the recall and say, if you're interested in running for office in the city of Fall River, let's have a get-together and we can help them get their signatures, because unlike the rest of these people, we don't care. We don't care if we agree or disagree with somebody. We will protect. We always have said that you should be able to run for any office you want with just your own signature.
Yeah, we only believe in the one.
And we remember those discussions during this disastrous charter when they were demeaning people and saying, well, if you can't get 200 signatures, well, maybe the person's working 2 jobs. And, it's very difficult to get. Doesn't mean a person doesn't have good ideas. They want to eliminate people they think are unworthy of being in their process. And
that was one group of people. Yeah. Because remember, Danny Robillard fought them on everything.
That's right. Everything. Danny was the Michelle Dion and of the committee, and he filed a minority report on that, and he still people still remember that, and they should remember that. But the fact is that we have to get these people, and because a lot of them just don't have the time, because they're trying to make a living, they're trying to do, to say that I can't get the signatures. Well, if we have a few get-togethers to sign signatures for people, we can get some people in. We'll help them anyway. And even if I don't vote for you, I'll defend your right to run for office. Even the other, right. I'll sign anybody's papers. And I've always said that on the air. When I sign somebody's nomination papers, doesn't mean I support them. It means that I support their right to run for office, because that's their right.
It's everyone's right. I want to thank Michelle Soares and Linda Mead for their participation in today's show. We had very little at first, but that was because of the scheduling issue we had. But I want to thank you all for watching, and remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend.